Okay, this is a vision that started out as a dream. And as I was sleeping, I was hearing, God will do this frequently with me. It's like I'll hear something and then it's like waking me up, or he's been saying it repeatedly. Anyway, I was hearing the stars are like the jewels in the crown of the bride, the ornaments in the royal diadem. And then he said, a royal diadem for those who are consecrated out to me now completely, a royal diadem for a royal priesthood. And as I was dreaming, it's like I was looking at this gorgeous crown, and it was just floating against the backdrop of stars in space, which was so beautiful because of the way that it just really stood out. It was just brilliant. It was very brilliant. And I was watching this jeweled crown with so many different color jewels in it. Rubies, diamonds, jacinth, jasper, emerald, sardonyx, sapphires that gleam and flash like fire. So many carefully cut facets in these jewels, sparkling and gleaming, somehow being polished as I'm watching this heavenly light pass through each jewel, refining and reflecting the light even more beautifully every time the light passes through it. And I was watching the brilliant deep red of the rubies grow even deeper as I was looking at them. And I was hearing the rubies represent the heart of the Father for his children. And now I'm seeing this giant red heart beating, and I'm watching it beat, and I'm knowing that it's pumping the life of the blood of Christ into the heart of the body. And then I was hearing sapphire, and he said, these stones are holy to me. These stones carry heaven. These stones carry the heaven of my presence. And I was seeing myself then worshiping on the floor of the temple with the blue stones again, which I see myself in often. And the heavens of the golden light of his presence coming out from the fire on the ark of his covenant, which is also his throne, spreading out from it and washing over me as I kneel, wave after wave of his glory ministering to me. And then I was seeing Moses standing on the blue stones on Mount Sinai, surrounded by the cloud of his presence. But Moses is also inside the cloud now, talking with God, who is like this shining figure made out of all light. And now I see Jesus up on the mountain also talking with God, who was also the figure of light, who looks like a man. And then I was hearing Mount of Transfiguration. As Jesus spent time in my presence, I was transfiguring him, literally in the physicality of his flesh as well as in his spirit. I was transfiguring him in every dimension, even if it remained hidden to the human eye. This transformation is both physical and spiritual, and it is available for all of my people who choose to put on my crown of life and walk among the stars of my revelation, which I give to them as they spend time in my presence. I give them this crown of life as they are before me, set apart and consecrated unto me, as they minister to me in my presence, set apart, a royal priesthood, wearing my royal diadem. And then I was seeing Jesus kneeling and praying in the Garden of Gethsemane all of a sudden. And I'm watching these great drops of blood form on his forehead as beads of sweat as he prays so fervently now. The brow of his forehead is very furrowed, and I'm hearing Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani as I'm watching Jesus pray. And it was like he was having a vision of himself being crucified. And I was hearing him say, Lord, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. He was crying out and just crying and sobbing. And Jesus was seeing so much. He was seeing so much that was coming, and his shoulders were shaking and he was sobbing. And there was so much deep darkness around him, so much oppression around Jesus in this moment. But he was also surrounded by this light and this peace that comes over him as I can hear him saying, not my will, Father, but yours be done. And I can see an angel's hand upon him, strengthening him. And now I'm seeing so many angels stationed above him, so many of them. It's like I was looking down upon Jesus from the perspective of heaven, way up above the angels even. And I was just seeing all this white around me. And I know I'm looking down at Jesus and the angels stationed above him from the perspective of the throne of God now, just over the trees, that Jesus is kneeling in the midst of praying. It's like I'm just seeing through this little circle above Jesus, and around the edge of the circle are all of these angels with golden wings, like holding their breath, like literally like hanging on to every word of Jesus' prayers. And God the Father is just watching. From one perspective, he just is this eternal blue fire just burning, constant and steady. From another perspective, he appears as if he looks almost human, head in his hands, just leaning forward on the throne, watching Jesus and praying. His heart is yearning for Jesus, and he's sending strength and comfort and preparation to Jesus. And heaven is just so still as God the Father is watching. The presence of God is so still around me now, writing, so thick and so still. And I'm just hearing my own spirit praying, impart unto me all that you have for me now and all that you want for me to see. And I'm seeing God the Father again, head in his hands, and I'm hearing, I carry a heavy burden, the burden of my heart for all mankind. And I'm hearing God say, see now. And I see the huge finger of God pointing at Jesus below himself, and the angels praying so fervently with the beads of blood and sweat on his forehead, and the tears and the shaking of his shoulders, and this thick, dark oppression all around him. And I hear God saying with the sound of a sob in his voice, his eyes of blue fire just looking into mine now, what will I not do for my creation? Heart of my heart, my first love, I have never forgotten. And there was such a deep depth of emotion in this deep, husky voice of God as I hear him. And I'm seeing God tenderly watching little tiny children, laughing and running and playing. And he's watching these sweet little children through the blue fire of his flames. And I'm hearing him murmuring, I have never forgotten. No, I have never forgotten. And God appearing as if he's human again. And he's running his fingers through his hair and stroking his white beard. And I'm hearing, Ancient of Days, who can compare to my wisdom? And I'm feeling this incredible tenderness that God is feeling for these children as I look at them from the perspective of seeing them through his eyes. And I'm feeling this overwhelming yearning to be with each of these children as they are running and laughing and playing. And now I'm seeing these precious children climbing up into the lap of God while he's on his throne, and they're snuggling into him with their little heads and sliding down his knees laughing and playing with his beard in their hands. And they're just so many children playing all over God. One of them just stuck a tiny little finger into his eye as they're running their hands over the contour of his face, memorizing him. And God is just smiling and laughing, his heart filled with such great, deep affection for them. And somehow he's with all of them simultaneously, blocking one little one with his foot who is crawling away from him and not paying attention to where they're going so that they can keep on crawling and exploring, but not to get too far away from him. Another little one is crawled up onto his shoulder and is whispering into his ear, and he's just listening ever so attentively and solemnly to everything that she's saying. And now I'm watching God taking his whole lap full of children and setting them gently down on the green grass of the earth. And all of these little children are just continuing to run and play. Blue skies overhead, sunshine, birds flying, and I can hear the sound of singing. And God is just watching all of this, a huge smile on his face, ever so pleased. And I feel this incredible, tender yearning of God to be with his children. The same incredible yearning I saw him having for Jesus while he was praying in Gethsemane. And I'm realizing this yearning. God is in love. He is so in love. And I hear this deep voice right next to me now, and I'm hearing him say as he whispers into my ear, yes, my dear, I am so in love. I am so in love with you. And now Jesus is right next to me. And he leans in and kisses me on my cheek and playfully starts tickling me and runs a short distance away from me as I go to tickle him back. And now we're laughing and running next to this beautiful little stream where I'm chasing Jesus now until he lets me catch him, whereupon he just kisses me again, and he's just looking at me with all of this light and laughter in his eyes. And now we're just sitting comfortably beside one another next to this stream, talking and sharing as we watch the water together. And now I'm hearing, I am the living water. And I'm hearing Jesus again, and I'm watching him praying in Gethsemane so fervently. And I'm watching him have this vision of all these little children laughing and playing and climbing all over God on the throne. And he's praying even more intensely. And now I'm seeing his body hanging on the cross, his head bowed down low on his chest. Jesus has died. And there's all this fierce wind blowing around him on the hill, and the ground is shaking violently beneath the cross. All of the crosses are shaking. There's so much darkness and so much wind, and I hear a crack of thunder and a flash of lightning. And I'm simultaneously now seeing a lightning flash and thunder roar around the brilliance of the flaming fire on the throne, which is in heaven, such terrible fierceness to it. Dark clouds and rumblings coming forth out of it. And now I'm watching the curtain in the temple being violently ripped in half from the top down, God's hand hovering over the curtain, and I'm seeing the temple shaking violently, all the stones in the floor of the temple trembling and shaking violently. And now I'm just seeing this brilliant white light filling up and swallowing up the darkness in the tomb that Jesus was laid in. And I'm hearing, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And I'm watching a dove flying and landing on Jesus as he's kneeling in the tomb praying. Angels all around him singing. And there's so much light. And I'm hearing Jesus pray for each of us now to receive the crown of life and the new name he has for us, praying for us to resist the temptation of the enemy and walk on the white stones of revelation he has for each of us now, who choose to walk with him as his royal priesthood and his end-time army. And now I'm seeing his bride again, dressed in her wedding clothes and kneeling on the blue stones before his throne in the temple of his presence again, praying so fervently, surrounded by his glory. And I'm hearing him say, my daughter, do you not see how much I love you now? And I'm seeing all of these beautiful angels surrounding the bride in the temple of his throne room as she's praying, and the angels are all singing, holy, 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 worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive all blessing and glory and honor. And I'm hearing, I am the I am, and I am ever near you, and my love for you is eternal. And I'm seeing Jesus walking among the stars with a jeweled crown held in his hands, looking over the green-blue earth, praying again, praying and looking for whom he can bestow this beautiful jeweled crown upon. And I'm seeing myself walking on this path of white stones and the stars again. And I can see the path of stars stretching further out in front of me with a lovely graceful curve to it. And I can see this huge burning sun somewhat close to the path on the right side, a little ways up ahead. And I'm finding myself just wondering in awe again at everything around me. Everything just seems so hugely big and beautiful in comparison to me at the moment. But mostly I am just aware of how deeply comforted I feel and how much more strengthened I have become in this moment, because Jesus is now walking right next to me on the stones, and he just has his hand very sweetly under my right elbow now, somewhat steadying me as I walk, trying to process everything that I had just seen, because it was just all incredibly amazing, and it was a lot all at one time. And I just see Jesus looking very steadily into my eyes now with his blue flaming eyes of fire, and he moves me forward now with slight pressure on my elbow. There's an urgency in him, and I can hear him saying, do you see the sun burning now? Steady yourself now with me and just keep on walking. Time is passing ever so quickly, and I can see the flames on the surface of the sun somehow appearing to darken a bit as I'm looking at it. And I can hear him saying again, see how the sun is burning. I am coming now ever so quickly. See how quickly time is passing. And I was watching the sun then rising and setting now many, many times over the earth, but extremely quickly. And I can hear him saying, just keep moving forward now on the path that I have laid out before you. Steady yourself in me and just keep on moving. And I'm seeing this huge wave of glory coming up over the edge of the earth again, over all of the fighting and all of these people warring, just stopping and looking very suddenly at this huge wave about to overtake them. And I'm hearing Jesus whisper into my ear again, I'm coming, I'm coming. My people, get ready now. Very quickly I am coming, and I'm seeing myself moving forward again on the path of white stones again, with Jesus at my side, Jesus just walking with me. Jesus and I are just walking.